Hello everybody, this is Waldorf,
And I'm Statler.
and we're on section 27, the magical standards, which is the last section.
So this is a list of standards that define
Yes,
magic?
what's acceptable and what's not.
Okay.
The magical standards. The first magical standard is the Rending Banner for 45 points. Gives you armor piercing 1. I kind of like this item, but it's a real pricey item.
Well, it always was. I like this name better than the last name they gave it.
Yes.
when they were trying to rename it from a Razor standard.
Yeah. But for 45 points, armor piercing 1, it's nice on a strength 4 unit.
I think there are a number of units. There are specific units that this is a decent choice for. I don't care. I think if you have any strength 4, strength 5,
Yeah.
any medium life strength, and you got a good number of attacks, the key is having enough attacks to compensate for the cost. This is actually a nice choice. It has to be a special or rare unit, of course, because it's 45 points and it's above the veteran standard cost.
Well, the issue I have, I'm being a tournament guy myself, the issue I have with this banner is if you're already strength 5, in a lot of armies, you're cutting through almost all their armor already. So you're paying 45 points for something that's not going to help you.
It's going to help you against
some opponents.
Yes, it's going to help you against.
I mean, a good deal of opponents, it will help you, but
It's not going to do a lot against Wood Elves.
right.
But it's really going to help you against dwarves or infernal dwarves.
It's not going to help you against orcs for the most part. But
right.
I mean, there are going to be the
Absolutely.
the rare. But anyway, for 45 points, I think it's a little much for what it is.
But I think it's the type you take this in the type of army that has a challenge
dealing with armor.
cutting through armor
Correct.
normally.
Yeah, I agree.
The Stalker's Standard. The
40
The
points?
Bears unit has 40 points. Thank you. Has Strider and Swift Stride.
I like this item. I don't use it, but I like this item. Right? Because it's a generic Strider.
It's a generic Strider.
You can sit in the woods and be stubborn.
And Swift Stride for... I think the Swift Stride can actually be a game winner.
It can be.
For units that,
I don't know that I would do it with a movement. Well, I guess it's still, even with a movement 4 unit, it's still good.
Yeah. Because for a charge, it's about the charge, and so it's about the D6. And monstrous infantry, that can be quite helpful. A lot of them don't have Strider.
Yes.
So I see a use for specific builds for this banner.
Right.
I don't think I'd ever have it in any of my armies. Because, well, just because I think there's other things that I like a lot better. And there's so few standards now.
All right. The next one, the Ether Icon.
Ether Icon.
This one is 30 points.
Sorry. Try not the ether.
Thanks.
I can't do the Donald Duck voice because...
This is 30 points. You can make dispel attempts as if you were a wizard master. I love this item. I love what it does for your army build. It gives the option of running a mageless army. 30 points, you can dispel at +2.
Yep. Nope. If you're doing
pretty awesome.
A no mage army, this is a must take.
Yeah, I love this item. It's 30 points, so it's a little bit above that veteran standard bonus. But
yes, you have to commit it can be a challenge for some armies, but you have to commit a special or a rare unit to take sort of your battle standard bearer and make them a little vulnerable.
Yeah.
But no, it's a fantastic army item for certain builds, but it lets you go in a direction that you really couldn't go in
Correct.
So I think as an item, it's not an auto take because it's situational. But if you go in that direction, it's a must take.
Yep.
The Holy Icon, 30 points. The Bears unit has divine attacks, but must also reroll successful ward saves themselves. I never really liked this before, and I don't like it now. That's just me. Getting divine attacks is a helpful thing, but having to reroll your own ward saves if you have them.
I mean, you could always put it on a unit that doesn't have the ward saves, but of course, at 30 points, that's going to be anyway.
I think it costs a lot for what it gives you as part of the challenge.
And there's a downside to it, correct?
Because if it was just the divine attacks, I might pay 20 points for it. This is only one guy.
Right.
But if I have to just downside to, yeah.
Next one is the Banner of Discipline for 25. Bearer's unit has +1 leadership. This is the old add 1 leadership to your army for 25 points.
It used to be 15.
It used to be 15. Even at 25 points, it's still a steal.
I'm shocked that this item is still in the game.
So am I.
Because it was clear that GW made a mistake. This was not intended to be for the
Right.
for the unit and taking the general's leadership. It was just for that one unit to have an armor boost, so it could be like out on the flank for 2 points. I'm kind of surprised, and this is kind of a cheat as far as I'm concerned, like, you know, cheat code.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have great leadership, so I'm just going to automatically boost my leadership up.
Correct.
The only thing, and it's 25, so you can put it on as your veteran standard.
Yep.
So the only thing that limits it as being auto take now is many armies have a lot fewer standards in them.
Yeah, but
Magic standards.
you still got the veteran standard and that 25 point limit that puts us right in that
Oh, absolutely.
slot.
Yeah.
It's hard to get away from.
Yeah, I really think for the flavor of the game, they really should pull this out. If you're going to have some low leadership armies,
Right.
let them have low leadership. If you're going to have some, you know, it puts too many people at 10s.
It does.
The Banner of Speed. The Bearer's unit has +1 movement.
25 points for that? For +1 movement?
I think it's fine. Depends on the unit you're going to put it on.
I have used this, but now with limited banners, I don't think I'm going to see it much.
It's more the limited banners problem
Right.
again, but so you can get a +1 movement, you know, +2 if you're marching. It can make a difference if you've got a slow unit in your army. You're trying to keep it up or trying to get somebody out there. You got
Right.
a slow army. So for certain builds, I can see it, but yeah, I think most cases get crowded out.
Yeah. The next one is the Flaming Standard for 20 points. Gives your unit flaming attacks and gives you the choice. At the start of each round of combat, you get to turn it on or turn it off. You can use it or not. That means it's the old flaming standard that used to be there, except now when you run up against that unit that has that, what do they call it now, that makes you immune to fire, gives you the 2 upward savers,
Right.
Fireborn.
Fireborn.
You run against the Fireborn unit, you just turn this off, and now you don't take the penalty
Or
for
you're
it.
running in the field.
Or you're running through a field. You decide you might want to turn that off because now
Yes.
you're not flammable.
Yeah.
It's a nice item. It's always been a nice item.
Always been a nice item. And it's probably, I think it used to be 15, but I don't remember. But
Well, it used to be 15, but you didn't used to be able to turn it
sure.
off.
So it's a nice item,
Yeah, I like it.
but I don't know if I'll be able to fit it.
No, probably not.
The War Standard, the old War Banner, 15 points. It's cheap.
The thing keeps going down in price.
Keeps going down in price. +1 combat score to any combat that you're involved in.
Yeah,
Back in the old days of 6th and 7th, this was like you had it in
it was in every army. Yeah,
You know, 8th not so much because of Steadfast,
correct.
and I think that's still one of the challenges and why they've dropped it down to 15 points.
And in the age of Steadfast and disappearing banners,
Right.
magic banners, then this is kind of going by the wayside, I
It
think.
does. It still has a use. I think it has more of a use in 9th Age than it did in 8th.
Yeah.
It's just back. It's
Well, one thing.
how many banners can you take?
Correct, but one thing with the advantage, one thing I see this one at 15 points, you can try to slip that in on your BSB, and now your
Sure.
BSB is giving you
Correct.
2 to your res,
Correct.
and I've seen that done a few times.
No, most definitely. I think you'd see it, and like I said, you can put it on a cav unit to help you compensate for your lack of ranks,
Right.
or on a horde of units to compensate for your lack of ranks,
Correct.
whatever. So I think it actually, and it's cheap. I think it has plenty of uses if you can squeeze it in.
For the same price, 15, you have the icon of the Relentless Company, which is for infantry models only, and it's 1 use only. Activate the start of any of your remaining moves. You can triple your movement phase instead of doubling this turn when marching.
Right.
But the march move cannot be longer than 15 inches and cannot be used in game turn 1 if the unit has used Vanguard or Scout. I see a use for this, but not enough. I don't think I'll use it.
Well, it's one of those items. I think it seems fantastic on the
Right.
surface, but you have to think. Well, you know, I think in certain builds it might work.
Right.
If you've got a one slow unit in your army,
Just to catch it up.
yeah, just to get so you can get into your battle line quickly.
Right.
Or you need it to send that unit forward to pin some guys down. Maybe it's a big, crappy unit or something, which probably doesn't have a standard.
Right. That's the problem.
You can use it for that, or it's at the end of the game, and if you're playing in that scenario where you have to be in the other player's half of the board, and you just want to shoot over, or you need to get someplace fast.
Right.
But it's only for infantry.
That's what's limiting it.
Yeah, so I think it seems nicer than it is.
Right. I agree.
The gleaming icon, 5 points. I love anything that costs 5 points.
Well,
One use only, must be activated the first time the bearer's unit fails leadership tests. The unit may reroll a failed test.
right.
I actually like this for frenzied units.
Oh, to re-roll your frenzy
Yes.
check. Yeah. It's a nice 5-point banner.
Yeah, especially
What
if
it
you-
comes down to.
if you've got some points in your frenzy units like Wild Huntsman.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last one in this list for 5 point is the Banner of Courage. The bearer's unit automatically passes terror tests and is immune to the effects of fear.
This is a wonderful banner.
It's a wonderful banner. For 5 points, you're ignoring the effect of fear. Basically, for 5
Yep.
points, you're not taking the -1 leadership.
Correct.
Which
Or-
you
or
could not
poten-
otherwise avoid.
Or potentially you have a one-up weapon skill.
Correct. For 5 points, this is great, and
I love this banner.
it's a fairly easy to slip 5 points onto your
Yep.
BSB's kit.
Exactly.
I mean, you can still protect the guy and get this in on him, because you don't want to burn up your 25 point veteran standard bonus for a 5 point item most of the time.
Well, I think it depends what that unit is.
Correct. But, there's this banner of disciplines over there that you can slip in at the 25. This way you slip it onto your BSB and you're done.
Yeah.
But
I think
anyway,
kind of the
I
other
like
way.
this.
I like it on just units that are medium points. I don't want to put a lot of more points into them.
Right.
And I need them to not have a psychology problem. It's the same with the gleaming icon.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, there's a lot of good banners in here.
Mm-hmm.
And not a lot of units that can take them.
Yeah, that's the challenge. Is that with the veteran rule, you're basically you got your BSB, one unit in your main army, and then special and rare. And there's usually not that many special and rare units in a list, unless you really go MSU. Then it's kind of risky that you're putting banners in MSU units.
Yes.
Because you're potentially giving 50 points for every one you lose. So
Yes. You got these little fragile units that are giving up 50 points a banner.
right.
Yeah.
So it does make it a little more difficult.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up the magical standards. And as our last one, that's going to wrap up our rules section.
That's our summary of the 9th edition Warhammer rules.
If you've lasted through these whole set of recordings, congratulations. You win nothing. So good for you.
But the good news is we will send you nothing because that's what you want.
All right. Thank you very much.